On this week's show, as you can see, Trimby has gone through some drastic plastic surgery, but he looks far better. I think you'll all agree. Ha ha ha, only joking. This is Oran Sweeney. Oran is the captain of the Emerald Warriors, who are representing Ireland at the Union Cup in DCU on the June 7th weekend.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the Guinness PRO14 final
between Leinster and Glasgow. We'll have words from Johnny Sexton, Stuart Lancaster and James Lowe after their defeat of Glasgow at the weekend.
And we'll be talking about the Ireland World Cup squad.
And we'll also be talking about the Union Cup, which is Europe's leading rugby festival for LGBTI rugby players. All coming up.
Joe presents Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Hello and you're very welcome to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe together with Guinness. This week on today's show, Leinster crowned champions of the Guinness PRO14. We will hear from Johnny Sexton, James Lowe and Stuart Lancaster from their post-match interviews. We'll be talking to Oran Sweeney, the captain of the Emerald Warriors, ahead of Europe's biggest LGBT rugby festival in DCU next week. We'll be talking all end of season stuff in our experience. A little bit of Game of Thrones to wrap up. We'll have some Twitter questions and your Guinness Made of More player of the weekend, etc. We're in early today. It's Sunday morning. Trimby has a Chris Henry's testimonial
game today.
This afternoon.
Yeah.
In Malone RFC.
Yeah, that's right. So
tell us more.
So this has been Chris Henry's testimonial year. He's doing him and Tommy are going on a trek to Morocco, which I was supposed to go on initially, and then my wife and I got pregnant.
It's all on her. It's
pointing the finger of blame at her.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
I knew this obviously.
Yeah. So that's exciting. But then obviously we don't get to go to Morocco.
Oh, so the lads are going to Morocco in a couple of weeks?
When is that? Yeah, it's a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. So this year Chris has had a testimonial dinner at Belfast City Hall, just good night, a lunch at a restaurant in Belfast again. It's all for chest, heart and stroke. Obviously Chris had those issues, that one incident where he had that mini stroke the morning of the South Africa game. Yeah. And then managed to make his way back and play professional rugby, and I think then got back playing for Ireland. I think. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Say he did.
Yeah, let's say he did. Anyway, we were slagging. Gilroy came along to the lunch. That we were talking about this, and we were slagging Gilroy because Chris has a stroke and still gets back and plays international rugby. Gilly, why do you never play any international rugby without a stroke? I so enjoy that. But yeah, anyway, so today he's getting, Chris has done a great job organising load of Ulster past players. BJ Botha, Butch Pountney, himself, Chris, Paul Marshall, Paul McKenzie, Andy Ward, Rob Irwin, a few old boys there. And they're the boys you need to be worried about.
I keep seeing, BJ Botha's back living in Limerick now, and I met him the other day in a restaurant, and he is in the shape of his life.
Is he? Really?
He's doing Ironman and stuff.
No way.
Yeah, and I was wondering, he's out to kill you today. Yeah. He really is, like, he's looking fierce. And he's mental.
So, he is a bit mental, isn't he?
He's going to get stuck in. Best of luck with that.
Yeah, I'm nervous enough about it.
Make sure you're on his team.
Can
you do that?
I'm not sure if I get any say.
Okay.
So initially I think it was going to be past Ulster players against current All-Ireland League players or something.
Yeah.
Who will have a far higher standard than us,
yeah.
You would have thought. But then I think now Chris has decided he's going to mix it up, so it's just going to be everybody.
Class.
Yeah. I thought it'd be fun to pick teams.
Just like you?
Yeah. You take him at the end.
Oh, we've all been there.
Yeah, and then the big announcement last week was, what's his name? Mike. So there's a Belfast kind of persona. There's this comedian who's created this, Mike McGoldrick, and it's North Down. So if you're not from Ulster, you wouldn't get it. But he's this kind of past player, talks about nights out, drinking Grey Goose and hooking up with birds, and he's this kind of really annoying stereotype from that area in Belfast, or near Belfast, and you would know it if you're up that way. But anyway, this guy plays in this, and he's playing in character, and he's opposite me.
Oh,
apparently,
brilliant.
yeah.
He's like a Ross O'Carroll Kelly of Belfast.
Yeah. It's very similar actually. Yes, the D4 kind of.
He's going to be giving you GIF. Is that the word? Guff?
GIFs.
GIFs.
Yeah, so he's going to be. He's a good lad. He'll be in good form.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'd love to be there just heckling from the sideline.
Yeah. Don't you worry. There'll be a few hecklers.
You'll
not be missed.
I'm looking at this poster behind you, and I always forgot what it reminded me of, and it just did. I used to be in that terrace behind the goal for a lot of Irish matches.
Yeah.
And I think Percy Montgomery I gave him so much abuse every single year. I think it was just because his name was Percy.
Yeah.
And we just
fine.
Percy, Percy. You could just see a single tear rolling down his cheek with his blonde flowing hair.
Have you ever met him?
No.
Let's get him on the show.
Yes. Yeah, I think we should. I know you have a few people you'd like to start with for next season, because this is the end of the season for us.
Yeah.
Which is kind of mental.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to go for a few,
okay,
who'd be the top of your list to get on the show next year?
Lewis Capaldi.
He's gas, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
gas.
He's funny.
He is a good crack. I thought it.
He is a good crack.
He Speaking of which, I saw him on Twitter the other day. He was saying someone keeps pretending to be him on Tinder by sending pictures of his dick, pretending to be him.
No.
And he's like, I assure you, I have never sent a picture of my dick to anyone. I would never send a picture of my dick. It's too small. I've never taken a picture of my dick. Once, actually, I had hemorrhoids and I had to take a picture of my ass to show the doctor, and my dick got in the way when I was taking the picture of my ass. So that's the only time I've ever taken a picture of my dick. What a genius, man, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what this guy was doing as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he had hemorrhoids and he sent a picture of those and the dick just got in the way.
Yeah. Who?
The guy you're talking about.
That's Lewis Capaldi I'm talking about.
I thought you said someone was impersonating Lewis Capaldi.
Yeah.
We need to start this again. Have I misunderstood?
Yeah, oh, sorry. This is how...
I thought then you were telling a personal story about how you got hemorrhoids in your ass.
No.
Oh, I thought that was your story.
No, that's Lewis Capaldi's story.
You kind of stopped the accent so you can see why Trimble kind
Yeah, can we start again? I'm sorry. I thought you were telling that. I was like, I don't know why I went, that's fine.
I did stop doing the accent.
Yeah, sorry, no.
Oh, I've never had hemorrhoids.
Never had hemorrhoids?
Never had hemorrhoids that I've taken pictures of. Keep it in. Go on, next.
Right, Lewis Capaldi, Peter Dinklage.
Oh, yes.
I think he's going to have, well, he'll probably be in demand actually, won't he? What with a big successful HBO series behind him.
Could have blown over at that stage.
Hopefully, and we'll get him on. Ralph Macchio.
Is that the
Yeah.
Cobra Kai?
Yeah, so Paul on sound was telling us all about Cobra Kai, and I had a
backstory.
Backstory, so it's kind of the follow-on, like 30 years later to Karate Kid. So it follows Johnny and Daniel's son, their kind of journeys. Daniel's son's this golden balls, all singing, all dancing, car salesman.
After what happened in the...
After what happened...
With the kick.
The illegal kick.
Was it?
It was, apparently they touched on that. Yeah, so it just takes, it like, obviously in 1984, it was very obviously Daniel's son was the good guy, Johnny was the bad guy, but then it takes it more from Johnny's kind of perspective. Anyway, it's very good about how crap Johnny's life is.
Because of that moment.
Because of it, yeah, and everybody always says, hey, you got your ass kicked in 84.
30 years later.
I mean,
that's such a great concept, man.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I'm loving it anyway. So, Ralph Macchio.
They don't make TV shows like that anymore, where they're kind of, where this dramatic stuff happens, where like someone will walk in and there'll be two people kissing, like Pat might walk in here and I'll be kissing you, and Pat won't say anything. He'll just peek in and then leave. But if they could have just taken a moment.
Pat, just come in and say, listen, there's probably an explanation for this.
Yeah, there's
a quick explanation.
No, you're gone. You're like, I'm out of here. There's no explanation.
Just a worried look.
And I'm like, he was kissing me. It wasn't me kissing him. Those moments don't happen on TV anymore.
Whoa. Everybody settle down. We can get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And then there'll not be any misunderstandings. Yeah. Anyway, Cobra Kai is full of misunderstandings.
Is it?
And very poor fight scenes. It's, what did I say it was? This style of the fight scenes. Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
It's like Power Rangers fight scenes.
But Power Rangers weren't trying to be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah,
this is clearly trying to be funny.
it's a piss take. It's very good.
Okay.
Anyway, so Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio. I've seen him on something before. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Donald Glover.
Oh yeah, Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He is the voice of Simba in the new Lion King movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that to come out.
Because I was on Saturday morning with the wee ones.
Correct. That was such a
Raj. Yeah.
Does Raj ever do that too, Pat, when you interview him, where he affirms something? Yes, correct, and you're like, oh,
Wow.
You get a buzz, yeah.
got it correct.
Yeah, from Raj. Raj thinks I'm correct.
Sorry.
So I was at The Secret Life of Pets 2 on Saturday morning with my...
I saw the first one of that. It was so crap.
Oh, stop. I loved it. It is class.
This is your favorite.
And the second one's class as well.
Go away.
The soundtrack's brilliant.
What was the other one you liked? That stupid.
Greatest Show.
Greatest Show, man. Go away from me.
No, you're wrong.
So what? Is he a voice in that?
No, he's not, but there was a trailer for The Lion King and it looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go and see that.
Okay.
Well, I'll probably have to see it with the kids.
Yeah, I'll go as well.
Anderson .Paak.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wasn't a big fan until you kind of introduced me.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I've worn his T-shirt a few times on the show. Anderson .Paak, rapper, drummer, extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Listen to him, get him into your ears.
He's a big fan of the show. Listen to
I'll get him on. Yeah, I'll touch base with him.
Oh, nice. that's similar to a Raj correct moment.
Thank you, Fiona.
Fiona giggling.
Thank you, Fiona, for laughing at that.
11 from Stranger Things.
Oh, I love Stranger Things.
Yeah.
When is that back?
It's very soon, like next month, a few weeks' time anyway. But that'll be difficult for us to have a discussion on it because it could be like the last season where it all dropped in one go.
Oh, it will, 100%.
Probably, yeah. So anyway.
I don't know. I think Netflix need to look at that because I would prefer that to be drip fed.
Yeah.
I think every week. I've gotten used to it now after Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's also bad for your mental health doing a full marathon one weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't frame enough time of my life, which I like that when that happens with a TV show or something where I'm like, yes, I remember that whole period in my life.
Yeah.
Because it's such a brilliant show, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's class.
Great.
This is a strange one.
11 is good. I prefer the little goofy guy with the braces.
Yeah. Any of them could come on.
Yeah.
Listen, none of these people are coming on. This is very weird. Just because we've been talking about James Lowe quite a bit. Do you remember Zane Lowe? The Kiwi guy used to do MTV Select, was it? Or MTV, one of the early MTV2
He's still pretty big. I think he's on BBC now, isn't he?
Oh, right. If he's still big, then it's not that weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good though. Yeah.
I'd like to get him on. And Trump, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pat, will you get in touch with Trump?
Yeah, it's just if you guys are I think we're all verified. We'll just harass him, will we, on Twitter?
Harass him. Perfect.
Just get him just as he wakes up when he's vulnerable.
Okay, have you anything else you'd like to discuss, or we move on to talk about the champs?
Yeah.
Leinster crowned champions of the Guinness PRO14 with a pretty huge performance that kind of required a huge amount of heart and effort, to be fair to them, to see off Glasgow Warriors. And great for Irish rugby, and I'm happy for that squad. Like, a lot of talk before the game and after the game. I think we'll have actually interviews. Pat, you were in the press conference, weren't you?
Yeah, I was over there yesterday. Yeah, so got speaking to Sexton, and then James Lowe came out, and he was in great form.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah, and then Stuart Lancaster was out there as well. So we'll get to hear from all them. Yeah,
they were talking. All of them, I think, emphasised the fact that they used 57 players this year and how important they were in the winning of this competition. And go on, pick up your pen. And for that for me summed up the game for me. Actually, it was a massive 1-23 effort and backroom staff, coaching staff effort from Leinster. After what was, I think Johnny Sexton described it as the biggest disappointment in a lot of their lads' careers against Saracens a few weeks ago, in an unbelievably tough game, and then to come out against Munster, very physical Munster side, beat them and still have enough in the tank to put in that performance. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the poor Glasgow performances that we've seen in the last 4 or 5 games. but it's no coincidence that like Leinster kind of dictated that to them, I suppose, a little bit. Leinster defensively, they took a little bit of a dip against Saracens, and since then, those last 2 games, their intensity's been through the roof. They've been just getting off the line, making reads, smashing boys, and they just kind of, towards the end, I know Glasgow got that try in around 75 minutes, but then the last 5 minutes was very similar to the last 5 minutes of Munster. They were in their own half, they weren't going anywhere. I was just like, it's more or less done, it's over here.
Yeah, I think the effort, it almost seemed like, I think a few people have said this, where players were playing for World Cup positions as well as playing obviously to win the championship. Like the effort that they were putting in, and like for the sign of a good side for me, or a good squad, is when every week you have a different bunch of players that raise their hand and put in match-winning performances, like Josh van der Fleer last weekend, Jack Conan last weekend. I thought Healy was unbelievable yesterday. Fardy last weekend, I meant to say. James Ryan put in 28 tackles yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, he rarely doesn't put in a performance like that, but he was immense yesterday.
Centres, I thought, were class.
Centres were brilliant. Reese Roderick had one of his best games. And when you've got guys like that who, every week you're seeing a different bunch. Now, every player, I thought, 1 to 15 and the bench that came on put in at a match-winning performance, just constantly working hard. And I think, as you said, it was one of the poor Glasgow performances, but that's the reason why. Yeah, I thought there's just something about that Leinster side. Even whenever there wasn't that much difference in terms of the performance level of the teams, but Leinster are a winning side. We've talked about this before. Whenever they're up against it and they have to get a win, they have to grind it out. They did that, and like that try they got, that Ringrose got, kind of out of nothing, just the charge down. They put you under so much pressure, and they just get wins. Like it was pretty impressive, I thought. Let's have a listen to post-match interviews there with Johnny Sexton and James Lowe.
Yeah, we spoke. I suppose we knew early in the week that Shawnee was struggling a little bit, and we wanted to make sure that he got his last contribution wasn't the Sarries game. Because his last memory now will be lifting the trophy. There's not too many people that have lifted a trophy by themselves in Leinster. I think maybe Leo and Issa are the only two. The rest of the time we always lifted in twos, but it's fitting for him, and we're going to miss him greatly. For me, like he's up there with some of the best players I've ever played with. As a forward, I'd say he's the best. No offense, Leo, but he had some strings to his bow that just some other forwards in the world didn't have in his prime. And as a leader and a player, we're going to miss him. But we'll, obviously drive things from within and make sure that those younger guys that are coming through will live up to his standards.
Yeah, Johnny, just before half-time, Jordan Larmour smacked over Van der Merwe, and you were in his face like this was a big moment for you. A good
You're
thing.
always coming at me about getting in people's faces.
It
wasn't in his face, I was in Jordan's face.
Yeah,
because he did a great tackle. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, you were in Jordan's face and
yeah.
it was a great tackle. So
huge play, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Was this something that really kind of summed up his performance?
Yeah, he was huge. He came up with some big plays, but it's the learnings. We conceded on that side of the pitch against Sarries just before half time, and Jordan will say himself that he could have maybe dealt with that situation better if he had it back again, but we'd all do things differently in the Sarries game if we could have it back again. And he learnt his lessons and he came up with a huge play, and that's why I was so happy for him. And it was a great tackle because DDH Van der Merwe is a serious player, very strong, very elusive, and he broke so many tackles, and Jordan made that one count.
And there was the other one where they just tried to play out behind their own try line, and you guys put in a few good tackles and finally got them down. Another big moment for you guys, so that kind of summed up the kind of performance.
Yeah, it was nearly a big moment, because we did a good kick in and we trapped them behind the try line. They nearly got away, and we sort of made sure we chased up on that open side, and we went for a ball play, we went for the scrum when they were still down to 14, and obviously halfway through that sort of period they got back to 15, and we sort of were stubborn to keep going. We thought that we could get in on the left the way they were set up defensively, but we weren't ruthless enough in that moment. But you know, in those conditions, 8 points is still a good lead, and we were able to sort of wear the game down for another 10 minutes in and around that area. So look, I'm very proud of the lads. Like Leo said, the way we bounced back after, you know, probably the lowest point of all our careers, really, in terms of losing the European Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, it's 40 odd weeks, you know, of work, so to come away with a medal was always very good. And I mean, 57 players I think this year, so the fact that I mean only 23 got to represent today, it's not just about us, it's about all the boys who have put in the work throughout the year, and to come away with the medals, I mean, we couldn't be any more happier.
Johnny was saying there was a real determination after what happened in Newcastle as well. You weren't leaving the season without a trophy.
Yeah, you know, it's I related it to like Liverpool. You know, like they're such a good team. If they don't win a trophy, you know, it's gonna probably they'll see it as a bad season, even though they're such a good team. So, you know, we learnt a lot from Newcastle. We probably got stuck in fourth gear. Credit to Sarries, obviously, for playing so well and putting us under enormous pressure. But we learnt over these last 2 weeks, and if we didn't perform today, you know, all that was talk. So the fact that we were able to close out and score points when we did, I mean, it was awesome.
Was part of that down to game management as well today, because you spent a lot of time up in their 22, you denied them of the ball a lot as well. Yeah,
and that's what you have to do with Glasgow. They're such a expansive rugby playing team. I mean, I played under Ren's, their head coach, for 5 years, and I mean, when they've got the ball they want to score, and when they don't have the ball they're trying to get the ball back. So and then they've got some amazing athletes, they've got a lot of young talent. I mean, Scotland's future is probably pretty bright.
You were behind in the game for about a minute as it worked out. I mean, the quick response after their try was very important.
Yeah, and I mean that's the nitty-gritty of the game. Gary Ringrose probably doesn't do all the fancy stuff, but what he does do, he's got huge impacts on the game, and he's got a huge future for such a young man. They just his school just brought a horse. It's called something stupid, the Fame. And it won, so he's just upgraded houses. But man, he's an awesome athlete. He's an awesome dude off the pitch. One of the nicest men you'll ever meet. And I mean, that's the nitty-gritty that gets us over the line.
How important was experience, James?
Crocky, you've got some accent, lad.
There you go. Second row myself. How important was experience? You've got guys in your team that have won Grand Slams, that have won umpteen titles. Your coach has been here and done it. Glasgow perhaps didn't have that same knowledge of how to manage an occasion in a big match like this.
But I mean, it's come through. I mean, everyone in this team has lost big finals as well, you know. So you got to take a bit of pain to grow. And I mean, that team, they're young enough. They're going to be around for years to come. You know, they're going to learn from this, and I hope that they do, because you know, we'll be ready for them again come the next season. Very young. Hastings were able to shut him down. Hogg, he didn't get too many big appearances. So no, it was. I mean, they're a good side, and we managed to shut them down.
James, obviously it was a big move coming up this side of the world. What's it mean to you to have a medal around your neck?
No, it's cool, you know. If you asked me, you know, 3 years ago, I'd be sitting here talking to you guys trying to decipher your accents, but I would have called you bluff. But you know, it's awesome to come over here and learn, and I mean, I've still got so much to give to the game, I feel. So it's an exciting time, and I think where Leinster is at the moment, there's only room for improvement.
Okay, that was Johnny Sexton and James Lowe, as entertaining as ever. What a great fella. A few of the bigger moments in the game. Obviously 15 minutes in, Feddersen scores. Well-deserved try for Glasgow, and that was kind of off the back of Glasgow putting a lot of pressure on, doing what they do well, finding space in behind Leinster. I think Hastings had a chip to the corner, and then it was just pure aggression and brute force from the pack. And you know, after that I was like, shit, this could be a tough day at the office. They look like they're ready for it straight away from the kick-off. I mean, McGrath just, you know, putting massive pressure on, was it Hogg that or
yeah,
Hastings?
it was Hogg, yeah.
And then like, whatever about the one man charging, you'd assume that Ringrose will flake back to support his back three, but he not only does he not do that, but he's ready for McGrath.
Yeah.
It just shows the where their intent was, and he dives in the ball, and like what a turnaround.
Yeah.
7-5.
That's Hogg with the kind of the spiral that we talked about. Obviously, I don't think in terms of trajectory, whenever you're kicking the ball like that, it makes any difference. But I think just in time to get yourself set and then strike the ball, that probably could have been the difference between getting charged down and not. And then obviously Luke McGrath works unbelievably hard. He was really good yesterday as well.
Yeah, he was.
And he got nailed in the back by Fraser Brown for no good reason.
No. That was such a yellow card.
I can't believe Nigel fell for that one.
Yeah.
I know you thought he had the ball. No, he didn't. You
could see in his face. Yeah.
Here's an opportunity to end this fella. But Luke took that unbelievably well, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? Yeah.
He smoked in the back and he was grand.
Yeah. He hit him hard.
Yeah.
But I thought, it was a bit harsh.
Yeah.
Not to get the yellow. The other Warriors got a yellow, did they? An actual yellow? No.
No, then. Shit.
Oh, sorry. No, they didn't. No, I don't think they did.
I think they did, but carry on.
Okay, good man.
I thought they did as well, but
Carney's yellow,
yes,
and not a red, is causing a lot of chat.
Yeah, I don't know, red or yellow. I suppose it could have been either. The unfair thing about it, I suppose, is that Hogg went off and didn't come back on, and Carney did. I suppose that's the only thing that seems a little bit unfair. And he went off for an HIA, which indicates that there was an impact on his head. Whenever Nigel said that he didn't land on his head, he said he landed on his shoulder. Is that correct?
Yeah, Dave Rennie was saying after the game that he had like a loss of vision, like a temporary loss of vision, and he was puking like as well, like
really?
on the pitch. So they said even before he made it to the sideline, they'd made the decision to take him off. So for all that to happen, like, and for him to be so sparked, and then for it to kick off with the players, like, it just looked like it was definitely going to be a red card. Like,
but Nigel he would be the one referee that Leinster would hope for there. Having said that, I thought Carney was shielded a little bit, and he was accelerating hard, and then he would have seen it late. I don't know who it was. Someone was kind of shepherding him back, so he saw it late, and I can see that. I think that is enough of an excuse for it to be yellow.
The thing about this is I rarely would look at a player like Carney or anyone in that situation and put any blame on them, because it's, as you said, they're looking at the ball. He's just trying to do a positive piece of play, but the letter of the law is that if you take someone out in the air, that it's dangerous and it's a red card. And if they're trying to stamp it out, then probably should have been. But
I know. I just always feel like I got taken out in the air once or twice, and whenever, like, I'm thinking of two examples. One was against Saracens and one was against Argentina. They were both just a big stupid forward clattering into me, and I always felt like that's so irresponsible because of the potential damage.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
if something serious happens, if someone completely wrecks themselves and they've like lifelong, you know what I mean, like heaven forbid, something really serious, then World Rugby will turn around and say, right, we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then why do we have to wait for that? I know I'm kind of balancing up. I can see it's not like 100%. Carney is the one guy you want that won't do that. He'll be the one guy who'll get in the air and compete and do really well and often block the ball and get higher than whoever it is he's competing with. But I do think if someone clatters someone in the air, it's been like really, it could be really, really dangerous.
You could you could see, like, Sportsfile took some photos, and you could see almost the surprise in Carney's face as well, that that's the last thing he wanted to happen. Like, you could just see his, like it's an accident as well for him. And just going back in the earlier one, it was Kyle Steyn got the yellow card. It was when Ringrose made that break up the left, and then he was just slowing it down just to try and buy his mate some time, and he got sent to the sin bin. But yeah, it looked like it. I actually saw Tyg Furlong was doing Instagram stories on the flight back there, and he had a picture of Carney on the flight, and it was just yellow or red ?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So to the victors, the spoils really on the way back. Like,
it's all fun and games whenever you win.
They're a big frag. Glasgow, just a touch, and they did have a few flashes of brilliance and show what they can do, but Leinster, I think, just didn't flinch. Like, they're Glasgow, obviously the threat of that trail runner that Hastings runs so well, where he takes an overs line and and he takes defenders with him, and he's got the option to go outside to tip on or out the back to someone, but then he's also got a great trail like almost every time on his inside, and then if he does throw that out the back door pass, that player, whether it be Stain or Hogg or someone, will have a trail on the inside. That's their go-to play, and it's been tearing teams apart. Ulster, for example, last weekend, but Leinster were all over that, obviously. And
yeah, Leinster, I think whenever you're doing that play, then you're reliant on a defender shooting and trying to get the guy coming out the back, and then whenever you shoot, obviously then you create that dog leg. But Leinster just said, you know, we've done enough video analysis. We know what you want us to do, and we're not going to do it. Yeah, very simply, because it looked like it was Hastings quite often, and you could see he just had too much time on the ball, and he must have known this isn't going to work. Let's just get another phase and see where that takes us, which is a shame from Glasgow's point of view. Yeah,
we'll listen to Stuart Lancaster here actually, because he touches on their defence as well.
Stuart, just wanted to start by saying, I heard about the day after the Saracens defeat that a lot of the Leinster squad were back in themselves the day after. Like, you know, weren't you until the Monday, but they came in the day after. Does that sum up this kind of bunch of lads?
Yeah, no, they're a very honest group and very hard working, and they were very disappointed to lose. We were all disappointed to lose the game, you know, having been in the position we were in, 10-0 up in particular, and you know, felt very bad that we'd let down the Leinster supporters who'd come all that way to support us. So, but we had a really a good meeting on the Monday, and you know, you talk about what created the momentum to beat Munster and to get this win today. It was that Monday, really, for me, to be able to take the lessons that we learned from that defeat and turn them into a positive by the Tuesday, to then defeat Munster, who are, you know, obviously big rivals at the RDS, and then to come, you know, away from home in Glasgow's home city, and to win, you know, a great testament to the character of the team, but also their ability to learn and grow and improve.
And what about someone like Reese Roderick, who had a great game out there today? He's a guy who kind of really, you know, wouldn't be put out the front all the time, but is a guy who just kind of epitomises this Leinster side.
Yeah, I mean, back row is so competitive. I mean, it's, you know, you've got Josh from injury, Shawnee obviously couldn't play today. You know, Dan Levy's injury, Caelan Doris, Max Deegan, Scott Penny coming through. It's such a competitive position for Leinster, and but Reese is not only a great player, he's a great leader and a great captain, and he's very respected by all the players and all the staff as well. You know, his ability to turn up week in, week out and deliver top end performances, you know, is a testament to his professionalism, his attitude and his mindset, really.
Sean O'Brien or a Johnny Sexton or a Heaslip, players of this calibre, and make them better as a coach.
I think one of the things that Leinster do really well is that the coaching team never stands still, really. So, you know, obviously disappointing to lose Gervin Dempsey, but then Felipe comes in, John Fogarty goes to Ireland, and we've got Robin McBride coming in. I came in, you know. So I think one thing about the players I've found over in Ireland is that they're very hungry to learn and get better, and they're open-minded. And I think part of one of the values that we want in the club is humility, and part of being humble is the fact you can learn from other people. So, you know, I was lucky in that I had 50-odd caps, 50 games of experience as an England coach. You learn a lot by playing against the best teams in the world, and you know, that combined with their open-mindedness helps the team grow, I think.
So you guys won today, but did you think that you were going to possibly not have a trophy this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you watch the game last week, how well Glasgow played against Ulster, you know, you're looking at the quality of that Ulster, the Glasgow performance against Ulster. Very, very aware of the quality, and coming into obviously the home city here. But there's a lot of work we did on defence, if I'm being honest, during the week. My main focus was that. I'm just delighted we got there in the end. You know, full credit to Glasgow. I think they're a champion team and a great coaching team. And a great group of players as well. You know, we've always had tough battles against them, and we were looking to come out on top this time. But they'll be back. They've got a tremendous squad, and I still think they'll be there or thereabouts next year.
All right, Stuart Lancaster there. So yeah, interesting. He says, to be honest, we focused a huge amount on our defence, and I think, like we said that last week, where the Saracens game, they weren't on their toes in defence. They were kind of sitting back, letting Saracens come at them. Last weekend they went after Munster, like they were coming around the corner on their toes, bombing out of 3-point starts to get at at the Munster attack, and then I thought at the weekend they just hunted so well on the inside, off the ball, outside, inside, just cutting off those options for Hastings.
Yeah. Speaking of hunting on the inside, did you see the shot that Ringrose put on Van der Merwe?
Yeah.
Absolutely nailed him.
That was one of the biggest moments of the game. Like they got a penalty from it, but if that was a try, that would have been, you know, 2 tries in quick succession.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I thought his work rate was phenomenal, man. Just so physical, just throws himself around.
Him and Henshaw worked together really well.
Yeah.
There was that one towards the end, off the scrum, I think it was. They did Glasgow did a little play out the back, and they just sandwiched whoever it was. And you don't see too many successful choke tackles.
Yeah.
Not as common as they were a few years back, but they both just locked on, and it was never going anywhere.
I thought, like, as much as we praised Glasgow last week for the variety in their play, like you saw against Ulster, they were chipping over the finding space in behind the front line. They were putting grubbers in. They were putting crossfield kicks in. We saw none of that yesterday, and I think that's where they dropped down massively for me. Whether the final got to them and they decided not to do it, and I thought it'd been the perfect conditions for it, being a wet, kind of drizzly day, to still try and play their style of rugby. It looked like they were running up like dead ends all day. As much as every once in a while they'd make a break, it was more often than not they were turning them over with knock-ons, and then Leinster were just booting the ball and using playing position rugby. So I think that's where, for me, that was the best part of Glasgow's game. And when I was watching the games yesterday like that, the Saracens Gloucester game, the Northampton Exeter game, then I watched Crusaders and the Blues as well yesterday. You're kind of looking at it with one eye on the World Cup, and like Leinster, a good representation of how Ireland would play, Glasgow, good representation of how Scotland would play, and then in the New Zealand and the English sides, you've kind of a good idea. And that interview we talked about with Raj last week, where he spoke, himself and Scott Robertson spoke about the team. Do you remember we were talking about that? The team the Crusaders have. That was really interesting, but he also said in that he was asked what his what way he thinks the game is going right now, and is there any kind of hacks he has. And he spoke about how England came out against Ireland and used that little kicks in behind and found grass and found space. So if there's 13 men up against you in the front of the field, there's got to be space somewhere. And I thought that was interesting. He's so typical Raj, where he's straight up and honest. Like, I watched Crusaders yesterday, they kicked the ball 45 times or something like that in the game, which is 20 times more than the average, or 25, and they were all little grubbers and little chips and crossfields. It wasn't any box kicking, there wasn't any long hoofing of the ball. They were all like really tactical, interesting kicks that were more often than not just causing mayhem. But when you're doing those little kicks, you are in control of the mayhem, as opposed to letting, just putting up a box kick where it becomes anyone's ball then at that point, because you slow down the game so much to do it. And I just found that really interesting, and I thought Saracens did that really well, and Glasgow have done it really well, but then they stopped doing it. Yeah. You're like, fuck, this is going into the World Cup. I think Ireland will have to add a string to their bow for me, and I think that could be one of them. Yeah, well, that was very long-winded, wasn't it? No, it was good stuff. I was glued to it. I'm trying to think. Larmour put a couple of things up the edge. Yeah, that were quite successful. They were very broken field play things, but they were brilliant. Yeah. Well, I just know on a wet day, whenever you're back there, I know I've been in the backfield at times, and I've gone, please don't kick this. Target Trimble. Even if you're exactly where you're supposed to be, perfectly in position, it's still a rugby ball. It could still go anywhere, and it's still wet, and you've still got then probably 4 or 5 lads all coming up together looking to smack you. So it's tricky for even the best in the business. Hogg, whenever he's back there, it's still difficult. And yeah, you're right. Often you might just get a line out where you kick it through too. Whenever they it's very unlikely that the opposition are going to collect it and nail it back perfectly and expose your backfield. Exactly. Cheers. Yeah. Correct. Exactly. Like if you, I think, and one interesting thing I've noticed that people would criticised Munster this year for kicking way too much. And you look at the stats, I think Munster kicked something like 13 or 14 times against Leinster. And you watch Crusaders yesterday, they kicked 40 odd times. But you look at the Crusaders game and you think they play this expansive game of rugby because they're just constantly putting chips through and kicks through that it looks, the game is so fast and there's constantly something moving. Whereas Munster, they'll play a lot of phases, but it'll be one-off phases. And then they'll slow it down and kick. So it's not how often they're kicking, it's how they're kicking.
Yeah.
And Roger made a point that like Munster was always built on, it wasn't just, you know, when people were talking about the attack of Munster, he was saying, well, it's not just that they're not attacking very well, it's that they're not kicking the way Munster fans love the way Munster kick. It's applying pressure all the time, finding grass, allowing a big wall of red or to come up on top of them. So yeah, it's part of the game. Like even I've noticed the All Blacks have stopped doing that. They've stopped even kicking at goal. Do you remember like they would stop taking 3 points? And I saw Mongo for Crusaders yesterday. Anytime there was an option of 3 points, he's putting the ball down, and even from the halfway line he's having a pop. And that importance of bringing it back a step. We all got a little bit carried away with ourselves maybe, and not putting as much emphasis on kicking the ball as they have.
I think, well, the example of Rog I think is a good example because Munster, I don't know if Munster are exactly this kind of what you're describing, but I think a lot of teams, whenever the ball slows down, it's a shame, but sometimes you got to take your beating and just put up a contestable and try and get the breaking ball and get quick ball again, I suppose, or get back into your shape. But that's way less effective than kicking on your terms and kicking going forward, and that was always the way O'Gara found a foothold in the opposition 22. But he always found that right touchline whenever the ball's quick, and then you're maybe stretching them the edge, so they have to come up, and then he just finds space in behind, and he just puts that lovely, perfect little spiral. The ball just turns in the air like that, and then just kicks right. You're going, oh, Rog!
Yeah. There was a good few spirals yesterday as well. Sexton had a couple, and
was he spiraling in open play though?
Yeah, Hogg spiraled a big, huge one to Sexton, and then he spiraled one back to him. It was like like a jewel with a glove smacking each other. It was class. Love to see more spirals. Finally on this game, I spotted during the Healy try, which I think was classic Leinster. That's when they come into that ability to just switch into, they all seem to be on the same page at the same time. When they sniff a bit of blood, and every player touched the ball for Leinster within Healy's try from the first phase. It was only 17 phases. I was just, you know, sometimes you see a team and they could have the same carrier every third phase, and that carry by the end, because he's working very hard, is just fucking bollocks by the end of it. Whereas Leinster just had, who's next? James Ryan, he'll make 5 errors. Who's next? Healy. Then Henshaw's coming back at a hard line, then Ringrose is out the back. Then it was like relentless stuff, and that for me kind of framed the whole thing. So fair play to you lads. Champions, we've given you enough.
No, that's enough.
Yeah,
enough about them.
They're on the having the crack now. It's going to piss.
That's it. Holiday time, isn't it?
Yeah.
World Cup squad to be announced.
Yes. Any 45-man squad this week by Joe Smith to be announced. I think with a 45-man squad, he's not going to leave out anyone that, you know, there's not going to be any omissions that will. Yeah, you probably.
Anybody who's writing an article off the back of it will struggle for a headline, I would have thought. With a squad of 45, you're going. Everybody thought we'd get selected, got selected. There's a few uncapped. Probably they're always the ones with the asterisks. You know.
Any uncapped players? I don't know if there will be. Maybe not.
Blade and Farrell maybe.
Yeah.
They've been in the squad, but they haven't been capped yet.
Cool. Yeah.
Reese
Roderick could have played himself onto the plane.
He was great.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Is it ridiculous to think that? I know we got a few complaints because we gave Mike Laurie what was that category?
Best breakthrough player of
the season. Best breakthrough, and then a few Ulster supporters were giving off to Eric O'Sullivan.
I was thinking we should mention him.
Fine criticism, that's fair enough.
Yeah, he follows me on Instagram, whereas Mike Lowry doesn't. So he likes a lot of my stuff. He likes my poems. Shout out to Eric O'Sullivan.
How many likes would you typically get? Would you normally get for your poems?
And any end of season stories?
I think a few of the Ulster players are going to a rally in Europe somewhere. They've bought this car like for 300-400 quid.
Class.
And they're doing this race apparently. Al O'Connor, Andy Warwick, a couple of those ones, and Nick Timoney. I think those guys are all going. Try and get them on while they're away.
Yeah, yeah. Get them on the phone.
Yeah,
that's great. What a cool idea.
Yeah,
beats just going to like Ibiza or something like that,
yeah.
isn't it?
I think they're going to Ibiza
as well. Yeah. To chill out afterwards. Yeah, see, the Leinster lads obviously going to have the best crack this week. They're probably going 3 or 4 day bender. I'm jealous. Okay, we'll move on. Here is an interview that I did earlier today with Oran Sweeney. The Union Cup is Europe's biggest LGBTI rugby tournament and festival, and I am joined today by Oran Sweeney, the captain of the Emerald Warriors, who are the host team, and Ireland being the host nation of the Union Cup for the first time ever this year, June 7th to June 9th in DCU.
DCU, yeah.
Okay, very exciting. Tell me a little bit more about the Union Cup and how it ended up in Dublin.
So the Union Cup, it formed in 2005 in Montpellier, where there was around 7, I think, LGBT and inclusive rugby teams that came together to set up a tournament, an international tournament. So the Union Cup is a biannual inclusive rugby tournament, which is held in different cities every 2 years. So we obviously travelled to Madrid in 2017. We played quite well. We won a bronze medal, but we also won the bid at that time against other cities to bring it to Dublin. So for the past 2 years, we've been working on the Union Cup to bring it to Dublin, to make it something much, much bigger. So whenever the Union Cup first started, it was around 7 teams, but now you're looking at around 45 plus teams that will be coming to Dublin. About 1,500 players will be playing as well. There's going to be a mix of male and female teams playing alongside each other. So we'll have a male tournament and a female tournament as well, the female tournament for the very first time. So it's going to be an absolutely huge tournament, and we're really pushing to make it the biggest Union Cup that there's ever been.
Brilliant. I love, like, when I think about it, I think of sevens tournaments, and when you have sevens tournaments that combine male and female teams, they always lend to having the most crack, like the Kinsale Sevens or the Bournemouth Sevens. And you've also spoken about, like, I've heard someone say that almost like a music festival as well, the crack that's going on at night.
Yeah, so obviously the focus is rugby, but there's going to be a huge family festival type feel to it. It's going to be great. We've engaged our sponsors, our allies that we have, our main sponsors of Guinness, Vodafone and Bank of Ireland. They're really putting together an amazing space where not just the LGBT community or the rugby community can come, it's for everybody to come and enjoy the Union Cup itself and see what it's all about. So we'll have minis playing in between games. We'll have a family rave taking place during the day. We will have face painting. We'll have so much going on during the day as well, alongside enjoying LGBT and inclusive rugby.
Brilliant. And take me back to rugby in your life. When did you start playing rugby? What team?
I actually started playing rugby whenever I first moved to Dublin. So I only moved to Dublin about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
So I actually never played rugby before in my life. My background is in GAA. So I would have played Gaelic football from a very young age, and then moved to Dublin. At that time, I was travelling home to play with my home club. So I wanted somewhere to get to meet new friends, obviously meet other gay people in a new city. And I was kind of using it as something to keep me fit while travelling home to play Gaelic for my home team. So, but yeah, it's transformed from there. So the first time actually playing rugby was with the Emerald Warriors. So that was kind of a completely different experience. Obviously you have the background in fitness in GAA, but that was the first time that I ever played rugby before.
In the rugby culture, yeah. So where would you have played then in those early days, or where do you play now? Where are the most of your games throughout a season?
in terms of positioning on the
pitch.
No,
as in who do you play against? What leagues are you in? Okay. What competitions?
So we play in the Leinster Metro League. Okay. So whenever I joined back 2 years ago, we only had one team, but each year we're doing excellent recruitments year on year to bring new players on board. So we do 2 recruitments a year, and that brings in some amazing talent to our club, but also people that have never played rugby before. So now, as we go forward, we have 2 teams competing in the Leinster Metro League in Division 11 and Division 9, and our Division 9 team reached the league final this year. So it's been a huge progress that the club has made, and we kind of want to keep going in that direction as well at the same time.
Brilliant. And then, I suppose, what position do you play, as you touched on that?
I play fullback at the minute. I play fullback, but anywhere across
as a footballer, I suppose.
Yeah, with the kicking. Yeah. Actually, so anywhere really along the back line, I'm happy enough to play, but I'm placed in fullback at the minute.
Okay, and I presume this is going to be end-to-end rugby at the festival in a couple of weeks. There's no up the jumper rugby. It's like end-to-end stuff.
Yeah. It's just non-stop
carnival atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
And so on. It's interesting as well. There's 4 years since the referendum, the marriage equality referendum. So it's kind of a celebration for that as well.
Yeah.
I found it's been brilliant looking back this week at social media and memories and stuff, and a lot of people reposting their memories from that time. Such a brilliant time for Ireland as a nation to be kind of flying the flag for every other country in the world for equality. And how has that been for you this week? Have you been reliving a lot of happy memories?
Yeah, well, it's been huge because it was such a significant time in Ireland. Ireland taking such a huge step really to go out there. So for me, it's actually been a kind of a very reflective weekend because my uncle has got married and I was at his wedding this weekend, him and his partner. So my first gay wedding essentially was my very first one. So it's 4 years on, and how potentially looking back on a few years ago, not seeing that happening essentially, but it's been huge, and even with the tournament itself, we have the ladies tournament that's taken place. Minister Catherine Sapone has been a huge support for it and for the ladies tournament, the ladies teams, and as part of that we have named the cup for the winners of the tournament. It will be named after her late partner, Anne-Louise Gilligan. That's so as a nice memory for that. But we also want that to continue on with each Union Cup, so it's not just for Dublin. It will be, we're hoping that will be something to continue through the Union Cup as it progresses into different cities and countries as well.
Okay, so the future of the Union Cup is 2 years time it's another big city.
Yeah,
try and spread the word there. Exactly, and if it's jumped from 7 or 8 teams at the start to 45 teams this time, I mean, it's just going to grow and grow.
Yeah. And it's the first time that the ladies tournament has taken place. We are the first time that the ladies will have a tournament at the Union Cup as well. So again, within the next, whoever will win the bid for Union Cup in 2021 will be announced in Dublin. But we want obviously the ladies team to keep going with that and build as the male teams have built over time.
And the ladies teams, correct me if I'm wrong, there's Railway and is it
Blackrock. We have UL Bows, I think, are coming as well. So it'll be
serious standard.
Yeah. So we were down, we watched Lindsay Pete and Railway Union play against UL Bows, so it'd be good to see that match replayed again. So
I'm a former Bows man. I'm a Bows man actually. Sorry, not former. Bows till I die. I coached the girls UL Bows sevens team to a sevens tournament in Denmark about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was a male and female competition. It was my first time ever properly, I think, coaching or being involved in one. I had nothing to do because they were the best team in the world. Basically, they were just killing everyone. So, but the crack was unbelievable. You know, that when I heard about this, the Union Cup, that's the first thing I thought about. And the standard was very high. but just a family event, and same as, I think, what tickets for this for €10, €5.
Yeah, so...
And all the proceeds belong to youth services, is that correct?
Exactly,
there's nothing but positivity.
Exactly, it'll be a great event. It's not just a rugby event, and it's not just for the rugby community, it's for everyone to come along. Our team is represented by around from 20, 25, 26 counties all over Ireland, so all their family and all their friends will be coming along to join in, and we're inviting yourselves, we're inviting everyone to come along and witness what inclusive rugby is about.
But it's positivity and it's all, but do you still want to go out and kill the opposition?
Of course, I want to win. Yeah, of course.
It's not all rainbows.
Not all rainbows and unicorns. We want to win. Yeah, we want to win rugby. Yeah,
I hope so. And then out for a few pints of Guinness afterwards to celebrate.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, look, Oran, thanks a million for coming on. It sounds like a very exciting event and a brilliant festival, and the very best with the getting ready for it. And I hope you go out and you win.
Yeah, for sure.
Legend.
Thanks very much.
Thank
you.
Okay, it's time for our Guinness Made of More Player of the Weekend, and your nominees were Pat.
Yeah, we put up 4 Leinster lads, unsurprisingly. So we had Robbie Henshaw, Reese Roderick, Cian Healy, who won the official man of the match in the day, and then Gary Ringrose. And the winner is Gary Ringrose. 38% of the votes, so we just pipped Cian Healy to it.
Oh, well done.
Yeah,
he'll be
over the moon.
delighted. He'll be so over the moon. He hasn't got one in a while, I'd say, if even.
Yeah.
Massive.
He would rather have got the official man of the match.
Nah, jeez, no.
No?
No.
This is way more. Massive congratulations to Gary.
Oh, we're making a big deal of this, are we?
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Why haven't we done this all year?
I don't know. It's always... well, we have never provided any. Next season, we're going to give prizes.
Yeah, 100%. A date with your man from the Karate Kid.
Yeah. May as well, while he's in town.
He'd be up for it. Like.
Yeah.
I just remember how excited Carty got when you told him that he was going to get a boojum. And then he was like, maybe you have to buy it yourself. So he's heartbroken. So that's it. Yeah, final one of the season, and we'll definitely get prizes. We'll definitely have prizes for next season.
Yeah.
We're going to fix a lot of things that we've got wrong this season. Next season.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes around here.
Yeah.
Just
we're
you two lads not here.
Except for us. Pat, have you any Twitter questions? Hashtag HOR was put out.
Yeah, so that's it. I was coming back from Belfast, so we're a little bit rushed today, but I've got all the questions here in front of me, and a couple of good ones. Actually, here's just a funny one. It's not even a question. It just says, this is to you, Trimby. It says, on a scale of 1 to Ramsey Bolton, how bitter are you that Leinster won?
Is Ramsey Bolton 10?
Yeah.
I'm probably only...
He looks pretty bitter.
He's 10 out of 10 bitter.
No, you look pretty bitter here.
No, I'm not.
He's been puffing on his inhaler all day. He looks a nervous wreck.
I'm pretty indifferent. I'd say I'm probably a 3 or 4.
Okay.
I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
If they'd lost, I wouldn't have been pleased. But they won, so I was kind of like, oh, nice one. Yeah. That's okay. Dead on.
We had one just about... I'm trying to find out who said it.
There's one about Sexton.
Yeah, I think it was... just one of the guys that got onto us and said, what about Leinster not going for the extra 3 points when they had the scrum penalty right where the posts were when Glasgow were down to 14 men. So it was scrum after scrum, and they had a penalty that Owens had given them, and why didn't they take those 3 points?
Yeah, whenever there's
see, I think that's fair enough, because like hindsight is so important. I think like...
So, what's his name? Who is this fella?
I'll find his name.
So would he have tweeted had Leinster scored? Would he have said, I really think my opinion was that you should have took the 3 points. These people never
Peter Horan.
Peter Horan.
Named and shamed.
Peter Horan, the Glasgow centre that came off the bench?
No, Horan.
Yeah, anyway, still. You two are a pair of hindsight heroes as well, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admit it.
Yeah, but like it's just so narrow-minded, I find.
Don't you dare.
If Johnny, I'm assuming Johnny's the one that made that decision, being captain and kicker.
Yeah.
And he made the decision based on the fact that Stein was in the bin. So obviously they've got like really decent attacking opportunities off the scrum if they could have got a decent scrum, but Glasgow took their time resetting it, and then you could argue Glasgow kind of manipulated that a little bit and kind of made the most of that. But to me, if you look at that situation, scrum underneath the sticks, they've got one less man to attack against. I think it's fair enough. And Johnny thought it was fair enough as well.
Yeah, it is. I would be a fan of taking points there, personally, but...
Yeah, 7 of them.
3 of them I would be a fan of taking kicks.
You were saying there, Trimby, that you suspect that Sexton's read the Andre Agassi autobiography, haven't you?
Yeah, that I don't know if he was talking about... Was he talking about this when he was mentioning that? But he said... Oh, yeah, it was that, yeah, because he said... you don't have to win every single moment. You just have to win more moments than Glasgow, which I think is a little bit of a piece of advice that Andre Agassi was given early on in his career. He felt like he had to always have this perfect performance, probably based on his upbringing and his dad giving him a hard time. But someone said to him, listen, you don't have to have the perfect performance every time. You just have to win.
Late in his career.
Was it really? It was late?
I'd say he struggled for so long with that, trying to win every point.
Okay.
Trying to hit winners, I think, right? It wasn't until he started getting injured and stuff that he realised he had to play a little bit more percentages.
It's a pragmatic approach, isn't it?
Great book.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit pragmatic from Leinster too. Whenever they got the Carney yellow card, just to pick and go, and they wasted that 10 minutes completely. So they're winners and they kind of get the job done.
Yeah, but look, we need to talk about these things, Andrew. You know, we need to have opinions on them. We can't just throw us hindsight out there all the time. Hindsight.
There was there's another one then. It was from a Munster fan called Hal Lewis. He just said it's a very good thing. He said that he was a Munster fan over there with Leinster fans. He was the one designated to go get the beers in during the game. So he said he went after around 30 minutes to go get drinks, and he was gone for around 30 minutes of the game because there's such a long queue over there at Celtic Park. Like, so I hope his mates appreciated it anyway.
Bring a nag in with you, man.
Yeah. And here's a nice season-ending throwback to somebody, JP. Remember, I think we were calling him or her earlier in the season, and we said it stood for something else. JP stood for something else.
Oh, yeah.
And so JP's back, still following us. And he was just, I don't know if you guys heard it, but talking about the booing from the Glasgow fans. Did that come across on TV when you were watching it?
Oh, for Sexton?
Just throughout the game. But yeah, mainly for Sexton. They were on Sexton's case.
It did.
Yeah, you could hear that.
Yeah, was it mainly for Sexton, or what was it about?
Yeah, they
were just trying to get on top of him, or what?
Sexton was just taking very long for each of his kicks, so it would get to the final like 15, 20 seconds, and then the fans would just lose patience and start booing, and then they're just on his case throughout it. And even BBC Radio Scotland said he could get a role as a panto villain when he retires because he's hated so much, they said as well, which I thought that was... Because I normally listen to... whenever I'm listening to Ulster commentary, it's always so kind of... I think it's so biased when I'm listening to it up there, but it's great to hear Radio Scotland up there was so biased in favour of the home team as well. It's great to see that wherever you travel, they're just kind of... It was all Glasgow and it was all anti-Leinster as well. Like, but yeah, it was a bit strange. That, like, I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, this booing that, like, are Glasgow one of the worst set of fans for it?
Do you remember the tour we had in Argentina in 2008? Was it or 9 or something?
It was 7.
7.
And before the World Cup.
We were playing a game in Buenos Aires, and we were coming in through the tunnel, and it was a caged tunnel, and there was all these kids on top of the tunnel spitting at us as we were coming through, and the atmosphere was like a football stadium in South America. In Buenos Aires, they were baying for blood, and it was constant just noise and boos and jeers. I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, this is... No, we shot our pants and we were beaten, like...
beaten twice, didn't we?
Yeah. But I loved that for some reason.
Yeah, no, it was great buzz.
Yeah.
Something similar, the tour in 2014 as well. Argentinian fans they're football fans, effectively. And they go there to have a good time and make their presence felt. And to spit at the opposition. So Johnny didn't get spat on, did he?
No.
He maybe somebody spat on him, but they probably missed from the stands.
I'd say he enjoys it now, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he can care. I don't think he cares.
No, absolutely not. All right.
That's your Twitter questions.
That's our Twitter questions. Thank you very much for sending them in all year. It's been
Thanks,
great.
JP.
Thanks, JP. Right, it's the end of the season. It's over. What are we going to do without rugby? More importantly, what are we going to do without Game of Thrones?
Happy enough.
We've had enough.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
What's next? Are we gonna? Well, obviously we're gonna have to keep following the rugby. But what are we gonna replace Game of Thrones with?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
We are both having children.
Uh-huh.
Our wives are having children,
Yeah.
so we'll probably just spend most of the time bitching about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're having
I'm having a little girl.
a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
In inside the next couple of weeks.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is having a boy and a girl.
Greedy.
Twins, one of each.
Getting carried away.
Rip it off, throw it in the grass, done.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we're very excited and terrified at the same time.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So will we maybe have a little creche here in front of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What we'll do is leave the kids with their mother.
Leave the country?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, sure, we're going to the World Cup.
And triple the number of episodes we record.
Right, okay. Is this your advice? This is my first time stepping into fatherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going from one kid to two kids is worse than going from none to one.
Right.
But going from none to two, I can imagine,
Yeah.
will be bananas.
Bananas. My brother has twins, so I've fully experienced kind of secondhand what he has gone through, and yeah, it's terrifying.
Oh, it was their birthdays there, wasn't it? Oh no.
Yeah, it was the other day. Yeah. So I thought he might have a laugh at me, like when I told him that we're having twins a few months ago, and he was so horrified. He just walked out of the room, put his t-shirt over his head, and came back in and was like, "You're fucked."
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
You want to get out. You want to get out of that band, get a real job. He's like, "Geez." And then I told Pat, and Pat was like, "You have those moments at like 4 a.m. when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're just like, you don't recognize yourself, and you're like, what's going on?" So everyone's been so positive about it, like really not.
Yeah.
Like,
when you told me, you said Orla is expecting. I went, "Oh," and you went twins, and I went, "Oh." Oh no.
You idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was her fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah. The twins are in her family, are
double dropping. They're fraternal twins, which means they're not identical. So it's a boy and a girl. Non-identical twins are on the girl's side.
Okay.
So it means that she's double dropping yolks. Basically. And I was blasting. So she'd be delighted with that.
Buzz, you're such a romantic.
I know.
That description.
I know. That's how it happens.
That was so sweet.
Yeah.
I hope those twins don't ever
I'm
listen
an
to
artist.
this podcast.
I'm an artist.
Yeah. Write a poem about that.
Double dropping the yolks.
Blasting.
I'm on it. Right, so that's what you have to look forward to next season, lads, is us giving out about our children. But look, we'll be back over the next few weeks with plenty of little bonus episodes. Then we'll take a few weeks off, and then the whole focus is on Japan and the World Cup, which is going to be so exciting, and we're thrilled.
Can you imagine how much boring rugby chat we're going to churn out next year, because we won't have enough energy to be anyway innovative or creative. We're going to be like, it was end-to-end stuff, and well, it does and it doesn't. Yeah. And talking about the margins, how fine the margins are. Oh, shut up. We're going to be like, what's the best stadium you've ever played in? Yeah. That's going to be the height of our chat.
Who's the biggest player?
Yeah.
Pat, you need a stick to just hit us with every time we start talking like this, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be flying myself with 3 as well. Like.
Oh yes, Pat. Yeah, Pat's
just phone it in.
You know it all. You're the sign of it.
What's it like going from 2 to 3?
That was actually the handiest.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I heard that. That anytime after you just keep adding them, and it's like just
diminishing returns.
Just go in there.
Just look after yourself.
Yeah. You look after him. You look after the two of them. Yeah. All right. Well, look. Thank you to all the players, I suppose, that have made this season so exciting and entertaining. without them and the amount of energy and effort they put into it, they get well paid, but like
they don't do it for us.
No. Fair play.
We've had a blast though, haven't we?
We have had a blast.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable it's gone so fast. Thank you to everyone who's listened and subscribed and commented and come to our live shows. And anything else you want to comment?
No, I just thought you were...
Oh, blast.
I thought you were going into a poem. You were like, we've had a blast, it's gone so fast.
Oh.
And I was going...
Oh shit, I didn't pick up
I was on
that.
tenterhooks.
Oh, sorry. I've got nothing.
Instagram that later.
He got a rash.
That doesn't rhyme.
Like blast and flash. You can make it rhyme, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll Instagram later. I'll do it. Pat, thank you so much for being here for us all year and keeping us on our toes.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Fee.
Thanks to Shane. Thanks to Anthony. Thanks to
Dermot.
Ian.
Thanks to Ian, of course, and everyone else that has helped us along the way. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to Guinness, our sponsors, and of course, thank you to Joe for supplying this beautiful House of Rugby. This has been Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby. Have a lovely summer. Party on.
Party on. No, it's not.